Hello, and welcome to episode 14.
I almost said 4.
I did almost say 4.
14.
14 of Knits'n'Giggles podcast. I'm Brynne.
I'm Debbie.
And we are going to talk about knits and yarn and books probably. And maybe some...
Inappropriate people.
Yeah, and what we've been up to. We haven't been inappropriate. I don't think. Yes, okay, so welcome. We usually start off with what you're wearing. So, you want to start?
I am wearing something I've worn before. Hand lotion, because my hands are so dry. And so is my face. So if in this video, my face looks flaky, I've tried to fix this with lotion.
It's not going to look flaky.
I need a facial. Anyways.
Oh.
So.
We should go to Pigeon Lake for facials.
Well, I was thinking that this morning as I was applying lotion to my nose, and it seemed very flaky. Anyway, I'm wearing the Pinus cowl. P-I-N-U-S?
Yes.
Yes. Which we've looked up before, because I've worn this before. Mm-hmm. And it means tree.
It is a type of, it's a coniferous tree. Yeah.
And it's a mosaic colorwork. Yes. But I did bring the one I talked about last podcast because I didn't wear it last time because I forgot it. So.
I can't wait to see what colors. Oh, okay. Maybe I have seen you wear this.
So it's very long and tube-like. I will put it on. But there's different sections, obviously.
I have a maxi dress that is very similar.
A maxi dress?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I've seen it.
Yeah.
Would you like a matching cowl? It would be
an odd thing, but yeah, very similar colors and stripes.
So the problem that I was talking about last time that I don't like, can you see it? Yeah,
it's bunching here. I just don't think you'd see that when you're wearing it, though.
No, but it just annoys me in general. Okay, let's see. And it is fingering weight.
It is very, very long. Like, that's longer than a sweater.
It's very long. To like, I feel like I'm coming out.
I immediately thought of the scene in the Jim Carrey movie, Pet Detective, where he's in the rhino.
He's being birthed. That's what it feels like. I'm coming out of the canal. So long. But it's nice. I guess in fingering weight, it doesn't feel like I have a lot of fabric around my neck.
Yeah.
If this were any bulkier, it would be awful. Because it's just so long.
Much.
But you don't want to like cut it off early because then you miss some of the pattern.
Right.
Like the different texture.
Yeah.
So let's woo.
Oh, yes, I agree.
Now my hair is all stuck.
Okay, so I don't know what the pattern is, but I'm pretty sure it's by Jessica Carey, the Hook Nook. This is back from my crocheting days, and it is a shawl, and we've talked about this before, but like I tried on like 3 different shawls today that I made when I was crocheting years ago in my first crochet days. I hate wearing them. This is probably the best one that I've been wearing. But I tried a whole bunch of them on to wear today, and I really dislike wearing them. They feel like really tight at my neck and bulky, and some of them are fiber that is a little bit itchy, like it's wool that is not super wash. And so as I was like having a thought process of all these shawls, there's a couple I think I'm going to donate because like I need to stop keeping these things. But this one I made it years ago, and this is probably the second time I wore it.
That's the problem when you make so many accessories. There's only so many times to wear them, and
if I don't like it, I'm not going to wear it. And I hate wrapping it. Like it's So as I was staring at myself in the mirror, I'm going to take it apart.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
it looks like cotton. It's not.
It's not. It's merino. I'm pretty sure it's fingering weight, and I'm also 99% sure it's Alison Barnes yarn when she was hand painting, like from the beginning.
Oh, this cannot be fingering weight. It looks very...
It might be worsted. I don't know.
Floofy.
It is very floofy. And it is pilling a little tiny bit. But my plan is to, I'm going to rip it out, reskein it. I think it's 2 skeins, but it could be just 1. I have no idea. I'll find out. And then I will either make a cowl. Like, what's the right word? A cowl, or maybe make it into like a summer, like a top with something else. I can hold it with something else if I need to, or whatever, like striping or something. But I really like this yarn, and I'm like, nah, I'm willing to put the effort in to reskein it. So
it couldn't be that difficult
if it's
to take it apart.
No, and if it's fingering weight, I might make it into socks. But I think I don't know. I have one of those things, like with the holes where you pull the yarn through, which really doesn't.
Gauge thing?
Yeah, a gauge thing, I guess.
You do the wraps.
Yeah.
Wraps per inch, and it tells you like what gauge it is that way.
Yeah, it could be worsted, because when I first started buying high-end yarn, I did buy a lot of worsted. So it could be worsted, but yeah, that's that. So it is nice as a shawl, but I just don't wear them enough to make it wear them.
I just noticed something about Brandy that. How long have we been friends? 8 years. What is the tattoo on your wrist?
I was like, what could you have noticed?
This tattoo on your wrist.
I do have a tattoo on your wrist.
How have I never noticed
Oh, yeah, it's been there a long time. It is it's really hard to show. Yeah, you'll never see what it is. It's actually the letter J in like an interesting script. Yeah. My husband's name is Jeff.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I got it on Valentine's Day, actually, I think. That it just happened to be my tattoo appointment. So I have my half sleeve. I had wanted a tattoo for a really long time. I had other tattoos, or I had another tattoo, but I was pregnant and breastfeeding a lot for many years. And then when I weaned him, I had been saying that as soon as he was weaned, I was going to get a tattoo. And my husband actually booked me an appointment with our friend who's a tattoo artist to get this done. And I had called her sneakily, and we planned this. So,
cool.
Yeah.
I have wrist tattoos too, but people probably do notice them. I don't know how I'm so oblivious.
Okay, so funny story. When I went back to work, because I didn't have these tattoos when I was working before. I did have a tattoo that's coverable that nobody would ever see. And but when I went back to work, I interviewed for this preschool job that I am now still working at 8 years later. But it was like late August, and because our teacher had quit, they had hired somebody to replace her, but then that person quit unexpectedly, and so there was like only a week before preschool started, and it was very hot. It was, I don't know, like 35 degrees here, and I went for the interview, and I went and got clothes, and I bought a light cardigan to cover all my tattoos because I was worried they wouldn't hire me because I have tattoos.
So discriminatory.
So ridiculous. But I won't say who, but a popular coffee chain my brother worked at for years, they were not allowed to have visible tattoos. And this would have been about, like, he worked there from like 2009 or 10 until like, I'd have to ask him for sure, but like 15 at least. Yeah, and so actually one day he was telling me about this, and one of his friends or coworkers had a wrist tattoo like this and had a Band-Aid on it. And I said to him, I would way rather have my coffee served to me by somebody with a tattoo on their wrist than someone with a Band-Aid on their wrist. That would freak me out a little bit more. I'm sorry.
Well, and now I think people are hired more when they have interesting, like, piercings and tattoos and stuff. It just seems so common.
Yeah, it is very common.
I don't think that it's an issue anymore.
Yeah.
It made me think of that Tim Hortons isn't it? Where was it? South Edmonton? Did you hear about this?
No, but I want to hear about it.
Well, when you said the Band-Aid on the wrist thing, just yesterday, I think, or the day before, there was a Tim Hortons employee that was diagnosed with Hep A and working at the Tim Hortons in Millwoods.
Oh, no.
And so now they've put out this thing that if you went to the Tim Hortons between this date and this date, get checked because it's highly contagious.
Oh. Ew. Yucky.
Anyways. Anyways.
So back to the wrist tattoo. That it's an initial. When I got it done, a lot of people were bugging me that, like, and at this point my husband and I had been together for quite some time. But they were like, what are you going to do if you guys break up? And friends of ours when I was in college, she got a tattoo, and both first initials were T, so it was like T and T, and they actually did break up. And so she put a bunch of like dynamite in like around. She just like bunched it around so it looked like TNT, the dynamite. So I don't know what I'd do with the J. But I was like, whatever.
It's not like really explicitly a J.
Well,
so it could
partly why I picked this font is that my friend who's a tattoo artist had sent me a link to this really cool site that like she uses a lot for fonts, and she's like, pick a font, and I was scrolling through it and I'm like, ooh, I kind of like the idea of like something that you don't really know what it is. And so that's not super blatant.
Yeah.
I don't
know. Well, next on my list is whips.
Okay.
I only have one.
Okay.
I have other whips. I didn't bring them because I haven't been working on them.
Well, this is my vest, which is coming along quite nicely. I feel like the last time it was just like the front.
It's quite a bit longer.
Yeah. So I'm supposed to work 19 3/4 inches from the back cast on, and I measured it yesterday before I went into Edmonton, and I was at whatever would be 14 and a half left, so 15-ish. So I stopped into Fiber Nook, our little yarn store in Edmonton, and grabbed another skein of this because, I ran out. I was pretty sure I was going to run out. I weighed it and there was only 10 grams left. So, so I just put this on, and I think I have like 2 more inches. I've been working on it yesterday. We got 2 more inches, and then the ribbing, around the sleeves and the collar. Yeah, it's working up. Once it's in the round, so fast.
It's really nice. So how many skeins did you?
This is my third.
Yeah.
But they're I left the band over there. I want to say they're only 25 grams, which I think I missed when I was buying it. I could be wrong. It could be 50 grams, but I don't know. But I want to show you something. So I was working on this on a road trip last weekend when we went skiing, and so I was working on the front parts. And then, so the front part is worked back and forth flat, and so is part of the back. And so I'm sitting in the car with my husband, and he was driving, and I said, hey, check this out. Can you see where I changed? And he's like, right there. I didn't even like say what it was, but I was like, yeah, right there. But look at my stitches. This is stockinette in the round. This is back and forth. Isn't it crazy? Like, it's very... It's very noticeable to me on the back, like, because this is the change right here. But yeah, it was so funny. He's like, right there.
So is that because of the color pooling or tension?
I think it has to be. I don't know.
Because of
good question.
The way the you
can even see it in the video. Like you can see.
Yeah. I think it's because of the tonal pooling.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe it's like that's just what my tension looks so crazy.
No, I think that's tonal pooling. Huh. So like, just has the little bit of variation, and it's different when you're going back and forth, and then when you go in the round, it spreads it out more.
Like it won't bother me or anything. I just think it's interesting. Like it's an interesting feature.
Yeah,
interesting thing that somebody who doesn't knit like immediately was like, that's, I don't know what you did, but that's the difference. I tried it on. I've tried it on twice now. I tried it again this morning with more length, and I really love it. It is a little bit bigger, which is exactly what I wanted.
Yes.
Because I want to wear it over a t-shirt and I don't want it to be super tight. I really am excited to have it done so that I can wear it, because I think I'm going to be making another one. Like the way it looks is so cute. I just have to figure out what I'm going to wear it with, but. And this yarn, this combination of the Brian Dye Works and this is like silky.
Yeah.
And like on it looks so good. Like the drape and the way it fits. It's not like I find my framed, which is made in the same yarn but without this helpable.
Yeah.
It's more stiff.
Yeah.
And this is just not. It's just like, it's amazing what adding this can do to the structure of your garment.
Yeah. See that.
Yeah.
It just it makes it more airy because it's adding space. Like it's just rather than like if you just had the fingering brine.
Yes.
Oh no, it's DK, right?
Yeah.
If you just had that by itself, it'd just be tighter stitches together.
Yeah.
So having this just creates like space.
And I guess it also kind of talks to the, you know, when people design and they do recommended yarns.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you use a non-recommended yarn, which is totally okay, I do it all the time, but your garment might not like sit the same.
Yeah, your fabric is totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's, I have 2 whips. You do your next whip.
Well, my only whip.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
you do a whip.
my whip is my big little stripes. I've been working on it like solely. Ta-da!
Oh, you have sleeve action happening.
I do. I'm like halfway down this one sleeve.
You do. I love the sleeve detail. It's the same as the side, yes?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I didn't notice this before, but you've got some cool, like, fleckies happening.
Yeah, the speckling in the cream sort of color. And then that's the back.
Is it in the green?
Yeah.
Oh, it is too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
you're
in
right.
This one.
Yeah. I didn't notice there's quite some pops of color, like bright pink and yellow.
Yeah. And I'd never done a folded over collar before. Have you?
I don't think so.
So it's like you pick up and knit like the ribbing, and then you get to a certain point and you do a purl row, and then you just do stockinette,
and
then you fold it in.
And
It and you stitch it inside. So it automatically with the purl bump starts to fold.
Cool.
Like it's just that's a automatic seam basically.
So
the bottom doesn't have that.
the bottom is
just
straight.
Straight.
Will the sleeve cuffs have that?
I haven't looked at the pattern ahead.
I love how it's doubled. Like I love the
and it feels like I might have gone like 0.25 inches deeper because I didn't realize I just kept knitting the ribbing and then I was like, oh shoot, this is double, so I'm supposed to do something different. So I went back and looked at the pattern. So it is a little bit higher, I think, than the pattern calls for, but I don't mind it. Like
have
it
you tried
does.
it on?
I have, and it does sit a little bit higher. But once I block it, I have to wet block it for sure. It has the pattern is more of a positive ease pattern, but I went more negative ease. So it was a teeny bit of negative ease, and once I block it, it'll fit perfectly. It'll be a little looser in the body, which is what I want. Yeah, nice. So, but this is my issue. I only have this much left of this color. So,
yeah.
I think because it's starting to do decreases in the sleeve, so it's not using a lot of this to finish the sleeve.
Yeah.
And then I should have enough for the other. I was going to weigh it actually. I brought my scale.
Good idea.
Depending on how much I have left, I might, because I have a whole other skein of the cream color still. And then I have this much of this one, which is totally enough for the ribbing of the sleeves. That's it. I might put in like just here on the band, like on the bottom of the forearm, instead of this, stripe it with this and add like pops of stripe at the bottom of the
to make it longer
sleeve. Yeah, in case I am low on this one. But let's see. Oh, I still have 63 grams. I have more than enough.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
It looks small.
It does, but no, that's totally enough. So, yeah. I will be done quite quickly, I think. And these changing of color every 2 rows totally keeps me interested. I'm not getting stuck on Sleeve Island because it's just like, it works so fast and then all of a sudden I'm switching. Yeah.
It's amazing what stripes can do to make it speedier.
Yeah. Though I did make a mistake in that, so when you pick up the sleeve, you have to do short rows at the top to create the sleeve cap because this is an inset sleeve, right? So you have to create like the sleeve cap to come out so it creates, you can see it like to here, how it's kind of going out and before it starts going in the round at this point.
Okay, yeah, I can see the short rows.
Yeah. When they have you start, and did I leave them on the side? Yes. So when you're doing the front and back, they have you put stitch markers at certain points on the front and back. That marks the edge of your sleeve cap.
Yes.
So you're going to do your short rows until you hit these markers.
Yes.
I had taken these markers out.
Oh, no.
Because I thought, I don't need these anymore. And I took them out. And then I was like,
I needed this.
I don't know how far I'm supposed to do this sleeve cap because all it says is you might end on round 4, you might end on round 6. So then that will determine where you go to next in the pattern. But it doesn't say how many repeats to do because it will depend on the size of your sweater and like how thick your yarn is to make the stripes and whatever. So it's not specific. So then I had to like go back in the pattern and try and figure out where these stitch markers went. And then realized I didn't remove them from this side, thank God.
Did you just fold it over?
I just counted stripes.
Oh, okay.
So
like,
I counted.
Could you have just folded it over and put them
I
back
didn't.
in?
I thought I'd taken these off too, so I was all
okay.
panicked. And I was like looking at the pattern. I'm like, I'm never going to figure this out. And then I picked it up and I'm like, wait a second. So I just counted how many stripes down these were and put them back on this side.
Perfect.
And so it worked out. But there's my tip. Don't remove the stitch markers before they say remove the stitch markers. Because it might screw you up.
It's a great tip.
I know. Follow the pattern. Yeah. So I will be done soon and then I can fix my tessellated that I've been procrastinating for a year.
Yeah. We started those in last March, I think. In March.
Yeah. It's been like a year. By the time I was working on it when we went on our last spring retreat.
I know.
So maybe I'll have it done by this spring retreat.
And yeah, we went the first weekend of April.
Was it April?
Yeah. It was like April 6th and 7th or something like that.
And this year we're going in May.
I know.
So far.
So far. So I want to share these. I'm drinking these Edna's non-alcoholic. This one is a Collins. And I got these at Costco. They're delicious. There's a mojito. And I gave Debbie the mule. And the ingredients are pretty good. Sparkling water, organic cane sugar, lemon juice, apple cider vinegar, natural flavors, juniper gin extract, and natural cucumber extract in this one.
This one has whiskey extract, ginger, and lime.
Mm-hmm. They're really delicious.
Have you tried this one too?
I had a sip of Jeff's. It's very gingery.
It is, but it's good.
Mm-hmm. I said to Jeff, so he bought two cases. We hadn't had them before. He threw 2 cases in the cart, and I was like, what if we don't like them? He's like, we'll drink them.
How many are in a case?
12.
Oh, that's
4 of each kind. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I'm glad that we bought 2 cases now because we've already pretty much dummied them.
I will totally go buy these.
They're so good. And I mean, you could add alcohol, but they're great without the alcohol. And I'm like, these are going to be great boat drinks. And deck drinks.
Well, Chris and I met with our insurance broker yesterday for life insurance. And we had to go through the health questionnaires and stuff again. And one of the questions is like, how do you drink? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, well, how often? And the least amount is once a month. And Chris is like, I drink less than that. Like,
I don't know.
So much less. He's like twice a year maybe that he drinks one thing. Where I am more of a once a month because it's more social for me. And he's not as social as I am. But yeah. They're like, unfortunately, there's no less than once a month. And he's like,
is there not a non-drinker?
But that would be truthful because he does drink like at least once or twice a year.
I think I remember that from ours too because I'm also a social drinker, but I drink a little bit more in the summer than I do any other. Like I can go months without having an alcoholic beverage. So I remember being like, well, that's like, I don't know.
Yeah. Like what's the truth here?
Yeah.
And like, it's interesting. What if you were pregnant or breastfeeding or something at the time that you do this? And so at that point you've been pregnant and then you're breastfeeding or whatever. So you're not drinking probably for over a year.
Yeah.
And at that point you say, no, I'm not a drinker. Do you then like contact them afterwards and be like, I'm now drinking once a year?
It's too black and white. That's the takeaway. Insurance crap is too black and white.
Interesting.
Okay, so I cast on slipping stitches off the needles here. I cast on my March Colorwork Cuff Club. and made sure that I got the cuff done. Now I'm on the, look at those, hold on. Cute little flowers.
So cute.
Yeah.
I like this.
I know. I was a little bit worried after seeing some more of the posts. Lots of people went with a solid color. Like everybody went with a solid color. I was a little bit worried about my main color, but the flowers pop enough. I think it's good.
do. It's bright. It's bright enough, especially like, and of course you can see the yellow and the pink.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is bright enough.
Mm-hmm.
Your stitches.
Yeah. And then now I'm working on the heel because I don't want them to be too much taller.
So what did you mess up on these? You said you messed up
on
something.
Yes. Okay, let's talk about that. So every single, I've done 3. This is my 3rd set of cuff club things. I have done at least one sock wrong. So January and February, I didn't switch needle sizes. This one I didn't have to switch needle sizes because this one is a bigger number repeat. So I had to make the medium size and then I will reduce my stitches. So I think this is going to be a little bit big on me. I don't know how that's going to work out. But that's what she said to do, so that's what I'm doing. How I messed up is that on the first round, the petal, or the, what would you call that? Not the petals, the yellow, the center of the flower.
Yes.
The first round is 5 stitches and the petals are 4 and 4. My brain read the chart as 4, 4, 4. So I got to the end and I had all these stitches left.
Oh.
And I was like, what did I do wrong? Did I cast on the wrong number? Like, did I mess this up somehow? So I went back and counted. I was like, no. And then I was like looking at the chart and I was like, 4, 4, 4, whatever the other thing is. I'm like, yeah, that's right. And then I looked at it again. And I'm like, no, 4, 5, 4. So I had to rip it all back. I feel like this is a lesson in 2 things for me. 1, reading charts. And 2, I'm learning to rip back colorwork, even though I hate it. Mm-hmm. So that at some point I'm gonna rip back all these socks so much that I'm gonna do a sweater and make a mistake, and I'll be like, I'll just rip it out because I can do it now because I've done it so much.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ripping back colorwork socks.
Mm-hmm.
Like tinking, and of course I figured it out at the end, so I had to tink back 60 some stitches. And you're like, you catch and floats, and you gotta pull those strings, and it's just frustrating.
Yes.
So yeah, but this chart was, I found, really super easy to do, and there isn't a lot of float catches. Although she has like some instructions on the float catches, and I chose to catch floats on a couple of the rounds that she said isn't necessary because I felt like I was a little bit worried about how long the floats would be in my toes. Like, you know, when you put your feet in, I was worried that my toes might catch. If it was a sweater, I wouldn't worry about it, but I don't know. And maybe I'm wrong because I don't have any experience with that, but.
Well, that's the only color work on this sock, right?
Yeah,
like,
so they're all just the cuff. Yeah. Yeah.
So cute.
I don't think I would do a full colorwork sock.
No.
I don't think I have any interest in that.
Though, have you seen, I'm going to have to try and find the picture, the ones with the chickens all over the feet? No. The chickens and the chickadee, like the little chicks.
Like Beep Beep?
Yeah. Peep Peep chicks.
Peep Peep chicks?
Chicks.
I don't know why.
They're so cute.
I'm picturing the little marshmallow peeps.
I'm not sure. I'm going to try and find it right now because I...
Okay, well, while you do that, I'll show off my finished object. I've got 2 February sock clubs finished.
Yay!
And so, if you were here last week, we talked about the whole toe thing because my toes aren't going to match because I was using self-striping yarn. So I got a yellow toe and then a little thing. But look at that, it finished. I had to do one. I had to cast off with pink, so it looks kind of funny to me. It looks like a snake, little mouth. It's weird.
Oh.
I mean,
well.
I know no one's going to notice it. It's just weird. But I did want to show, this is all I have left of that 50 gram skein of the colorwork, or of the self-striping. So I definitely wouldn't be able to do the heels. In hindsight, I should have done the toes in white, and then they would have totally matched my socks, but.
It is weird that it doesn't go into, like, that there's this yellow and not purple. Like,
I should have.
I don't understand how that happened. Like, the whole rest of the sock matches, So
because
I wonder what
the colors, because this started over again, and I went from the inside for the purple.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, because it wouldn't have mattered either way. They're not going to match because there was only like this repeat left, right? So that it would have been yellow, yellow, pink, purple, and then
did you already say this and I wasn't paying attention?
No, but we talked about this last time about how there is two full colorwork, two full patterns. And then because it's a 50 gram skein, it just goes a little bit more.
Right.
Whereas if I bought the 100 gram skein, then I would have been okay.
Right.
But even with a 100 gram skein, I like shorties. I'm not going to get 2 sets of socks fully. I should have done it with if I wanted it to completely match, I could have done toes and it would have been fine. But then I would be left over with these little bits. Yeah. I did. Where did I throw that?
Over your shoulder, like
I love these little bits. Goodbye. I did. Oh my gosh, my hands are dry. The yarn is sticking to me. I did a while ago make Jeff scrappy socks with some self-striping that I'd used. And so what I did was the self-striping for the top of the sock all the way, did the cup or the heel and something else, and then I just did the self-striping. I weighed it and did it as far as it would go, and then changed to like black or gray on the bottom. So you can use it up, but if you like scrappy socks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
These are the socks. Stone knits, so Charlotte Stone is the designer.
Yeah, those are adorable. I would never make them.
I know. They're so cute, but I couldn't.
I could see myself using
like maybe just
the tart on the top, yeah.
Yeah, just like the cuff.
Like some little chickens. I like the little chicks. Those are cute. Very easy.
But she has like quite a few different sock patterns
that are
color work like that.
Yeah.
Like these ones.
Oh, those are adorable.
Oh, look, St. Patrick's Day is tomorrow. Ooh. Maybe by the time you watch this, it will be St. Patrick's Day. You can knit these socks. How cute are they? If you can knit a pair of socks in a day, I guess. Yeah. I can't. But yes. Well, I have no FOs, so
lame. No, just kidding.
I know. I will next time. I'll have a sweater.
You will have that sweater, and you'll be able to show us your tessellated.
Yeah.
I have patterns. I actually bought this pattern because it's called the ZZ bag. I wanted to say ZZ top.
I feel like I saw this somewhere.
Okay.
Yes, I saw this on Ravelry.
Okay. Wow. I mean, it's got lots of cool details. Like, so she used the scarf in that first picture, but then there is actually, she put a leather handle. So I'm going to put a leather handle on. But this is actually felted. So you knit it and then you felt it. So I'm really intrigued by that. Mm-hmm. And in her descriptions and stuff, she talks about how because this is a bag and the size doesn't really matter at the end of the day, unlike if you were to felt mittens or slippers. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to try it and see, and then maybe I'll make like felted slippers. I think felted slippers would be really cool. But yeah, so I really love it. And I was like, this is a good foray into felting, but I have to sew a zipper in. So,
well, we still have that other purse project.
I printed the pattern for it too. Cause I printed this one and I'm like, hey, Brandy, we're going to print the other one too. So we got to do that one.
And that one you have to sew in a zipper as well. And the lining.
Yeah. I don't know if this one has instructions for a lining. But if it doesn't, I'll probably put a lining in it. Maybe, I'm not sure. See what happens once you felt it. Mm-hmm. So now I'm on a mission to find yarn
that will felt. So it has to be 100% wool.
It has to be 100% animal fiber. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I do have a natural color from my friend has sheep, and she has had her sheep turned into their I want to say hides, but that's not the right word, but whatever. Their wool turned into yarn, and then she sells it. So I have some that I had tried to make into something else, and I didn't really love it. This is calling for Aran weight, but again, because it doesn't really matter. Hers is technically a worsted, but I'll have to kind of play yarn chicken with it a little bit. I don't know if it's 2 skeins or 1, because I had tried to make something with it and then I rewound it. I'm gonna weigh it and see, but because this fiber, like, it does have the weight, but of course all fibers weigh different, so it's not gonna really give me a good idea. But if I can find something, the other thing is that I'm a little bit nervous about using that with something else because it might felt differently. So I might want to get 2 colors of the exact same yarn.
Yeah,
I was kind of hoping to find stash, but I don't have a lot of Aran or DK weight or even worsted. That's 100%.
I don't think I have any that would felt.
Yeah.
Like, not like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then my other thought for a moment was this, like, I have this left and then I have a whole nother skein. So, like, I mean, I could have 3 projects in the oyster from this. And then I also have some of the black left too from my sweater. But not enough, so I'd have to buy another skein. So I don't know. But those 2 colors would look really good. And I think I want to do neutral colors.
Yeah, I'll go with more.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my thing. So I printed off the pattern and I started reading it and I immediately got overwhelmed. Like, oh my God. Like zippers, and there's charts for the zigzags, and there's like pictures of sewing, and I was like, oh my God. And I was like,
that's why sometimes I'm like, I know some people say to read the whole pattern first, but sometimes I'm like, no, it's too overwhelming.
When I first started knitting, I can't remember what my first thing, it was like a sweater or something, not my first knit, but like first bigger thing. A friend of mine said to me, pro tip, don't read the whole pattern. And I was like, what? And she was like, because you're going to start reading it and you're going to come across terms that you don't recognize and you're going to become overwhelmed and you're going to put the pattern down and you're going to put your knitting down and you're going to feel overwhelmed and you're going to walk away and you're going to be frustrated and you're not going to do it. And I was like, that's exactly how I felt. Like,
yeah.
Like it would say, do a left-leaning increase. I'm like, I don't know what that is. and I don't know what a right increase is. And I'm going to have to Google this. And this is just too much. And she's like, just get to it. Deal with it when you get to it.
Yeah.
And it actually has served me very well because I do have that personality where like I will get overwhelmed and then I will put it away. So, yeah.
Well, I look forward to seeing this felted bag. Maybe I'll make one. I was like, we should have an extra kind of project when we go away.
Our bags.
I know.
We should
do the bags.
We bought this pattern and the bag, the yarn to make this bag. Are you going to bring it up?
I'll look for it.
So it's a circle crossbody bag. So at Knit City last year in Calgary, August, there was Horizon Fibers had it displayed at her booth, but I had seen it on her Instagram beforehand. It's a circle crossbody bag made with boucle and so freaking cute. And so we both bought yarn from her to make the bag, and then we got the pattern. And we both said this would be a great knit away project. And knit away is what we call our little knitting retreats. Debbie and I go away about twice a year with each other. We get an Airbnb and we take our knits and our books and we just relax.
We sit there. We sit together instead of at home in our own houses.
And work on our projects and listen to 80s music. It's great. But yeah, so we're like, ooh. And I remember even at the booth, we said, oh my gosh, this would be a great knit away project. And I forget her name, but Horizon Fibers.
I can't remember her name.
I want to call it, I don't remember. I wanted to say Elise, but that's her leather. Anyways, she said a knit away. And she's like, that sounds amazing. It is amazing. So,
you know what's interesting, and that so you can kind of see in this pattern, these two, you can see this construction more because they're not the boucle.
Yeah.
So you can see how it kind of starts at the center and works out with the increases, whereas on the boucle one, is it going to load? You can't really see that. It's so I like that about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we can order the
The hardware.
Stuff off of Amazon or something.
Yeah, we'll need some material for the inside.
Yes.
The other nice thing about this pattern is it says right on it that it can be hand sewn. Of course, it'll take more time. But she did her first 2 or 3 bags completely without a sewing machine, and then did make one with a sewing machine.
There's a squirrel in your cover.
My barbecue cover. Yeah, we have to move the bird feeder because it's attracting squirrels.
Aww.
Mm-hmm. We're just worried that they'll go in the rafters and stuff like that.
Well, yes. Yeah. Well, it's now in your barbecue.
Now
cover.
It's barbecue. My barbecue cover. Yeah, I should put the barbecue cover back on the barbecue. But yeah, so I'm gonna maybe make that bag. I am gonna make that bag once I get yarn, and the boucle bag for May. I almost wound the boucle last night because I was like, well, you're gonna make another bag, Brandy. Maybe you should make the one that you have for. And then I was like, whoa, how about Brandy? You work on the projects that are already on your needles, and don't worry about winding the boucle.
I have to do that. Otherwise, I'll just not finish the tessellated again. I just need to finish these things before I start more.
But we have 6-ish weeks until our next knit away. So we have 6-ish weeks to finish our projects, and then we can do the boucle bag.
Yes. Maybe I could bring a sewing machine with us.
We're not going away for that long. 2 days.
And one of those days is at a fiber show.
It's during our fiber show. So I have to tell you guys the story about the Airbnb. We kind of knew we wanted to go away in the spring, but neither one of us had said much about it. And then Debbie messaged me, and she said something like, so, and this was January or December. It was a long time ago. She's like, so do you have any dates in mind for our knit away? And I was like, well, you pick, because you have less flexibility with your work or whatever. So she had sent me some days. We had talked about it. We decided to do it during a fiber show, and we'd go to the fiber show. And she's like, I would really like an Airbnb with a hot tub. And I said, okay, done. I'm just going to look at Airbnbs with just ones with hot tubs. So I looked in the city that we're going to for the show. There are 0.
There's an apartment.
0 Airbnbs with a hot tub. There are Airbnbs, but they're all almost owned by the same couple who own a company that has condos. So they're mostly condos. And very, nothing fun about them. And we've always stayed in, kind of fun locations or with some kind of perk. And so I extended it. And we're actually staying in an Airbnb that's 20 minutes from my house.
We're going so far.
Because it has a hot tub. And it's halfway in the direction of the fireworks show. So I said to Debbie, I'm like, okay, so here's your options. We can stay in condos. Or we can drive 20 minutes from my house and stay in this woodland retreat cabin with a hot tub and then drive the extra 20 minutes to where the fiber show is.
Works for me.
And then I sent her pictures of the condos, really bad ones. And I'm like, this is what we're picking from. And she was like, well, those look terrible. And I was like, right? Cabin in the woods. It looks so cute.
Oh, well, and then I started... Because I was like, we should do this again in June.
We're doing it the first weekend of May.
I know, but I'm like, there's the show in Olds. So I was like, I wonder if there's Airbnbs in Olds.
I've looked before because my mother-in-law lives there. And sometimes we take the kids there, and I'd like to stay in an Airbnb nearby rather than drive home with my husband and have a little getaway. Yeah, there
was one, and it looked like an old man decided to rent out his house. So the beds were the big wooden headboards that had mirrors and shelves. And it's not good. So I was like, no. So then it was giving me ones in Red Deer and Cochrane. And I'm like, this is very far from where this festival is.
There might be what weekend is that though? Because I don't think
June 14th.
Yeah, that's Chloe's birthday.
Yeah. Well, when you said we should go on road trips to see concerts, I was like, we should go on road trips to all the fiber things.
I said we could do yarn things and concerts. We would call it the music and yarn road trip.
I don't know if there's any concerts around that time in Olds, but
maybe some oh, you know what? My grandparents-in-law, they go to this millet what would you call it when it's like church music? Like gospel? I don't know. But like they go to this like whole music concert in Milland and like it's like a weekend and they always tell me how good it is. So we can always add that to our bucket list.
Well, it'd be like going to Jelly Roll.
You want to talk about that, Debbie?
No, let me do my patterns first.
Fine.
And then we can talk about that. I get re-traumatized. So is that, you only showed one pattern, right?
Yeah, I have one
more.
more.
Have more.
I can go back and forth.
Okay, so the first one I have is the Movement Tee by Lily Kate France, and it's DK weight. And I have a picture.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it just kind of popped up. I really like the side.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
So it just like jogs the stripes. And I'm not sure why.
It looks like there's eyelets too.
Yes. So maybe that's why it jogs the stripes. It's because of that detail with the yarn overs, and it have to have increasing and decreasing basically along the sides.
It kind of looks like one of those visual, you know, when you're staring at something and it like you can see something else in it. That's what it's like tripping me out a little bit.
I'll see if I can bring up other pictures of it on Ravelry. Not that way. I like the Rabbit app better than going to the actual Ravelry website. Do you use the Rabbit app?
We've talked about this on here, and so you got it a long time ago, and
Yeah.
I went to download
and you
it.
have to pay for it now.
And you have to pay for it now, yeah. And it's,
Yeah.
I can look it up, but I was like, I'm not paying that.
I like Rabbit.
I wish I would have gone on it before, because I think an app would be fun. But
Yeah, so that's the Movement Tee. I just thought, like, if I decide I'm going to make any, like, summer knits, I always struggle. It gets to summer, and I go, I should knit something for summer. And then I can never find something I actually like. And then it's the end of summer, and I've made no summer knit. So maybe I should think about doing this earlier.
yeah, so the app is $7.
If you want to get the Rabbit app, I recommend it. I think it's a good one. If you want to pay the $7. I guess I can talk about my other pattern, and then you can talk about
Sure.
mine. So the other one that I was looking at was the EnolaV by Jennifer Shiels Toland. So the last one was a DK weight. This one's a fingering weight. And I really like this one. And I would probably just make it even though it's fingering weight. But I like the detail on this one.
Oh yeah, I like the shoulder detail.
Yeah. And there's a shot that's from the back. Where is it? Oh, maybe it's in somebody's project. Well, this one shows the shoulder really well. So that detail on the shoulder goes across the back in the top of the collar. So it kind of has that ribbed look along the top, because you can see this would extend along the whole back right here.
It's kind of boxy, hey? Like it's
Yeah. It is boxy.
There's no shaping, or doesn't look like much shaping.
No, but I also like how the V is stitched. It's kind of a prominent design. I don't know how to say that.
I like how it's stitched
Just
too.
defined.
It's defined, yeah.
Yeah, I like the definition on that. Yeah, so that was the EnolaV.
I like how she styled it over top of the long sleeve dress shirt.
Yeah.
That's kind of cute.
Yeah,
because it's
different
almost
ways.
vest-like.
Yeah. So you could wear it, well, and the armholes are small enough, you could wear it just a tee, and then you could wear it as like a vest. Yeah, it was cute.
That's cute. Okay, so my next pattern, I don't know if I'm going to be saying this right. I'm going to preface that. It is Jeol Sweater. So I don't know if that's Joel or Jeol Sweater by PetiteKnit, Carolyn Skavegard Benson. I'm guessing it's Danish or Nordic or something. I have it up on Rav, but I actually like the pictures better on. And I had it up on Instagram, but I clicked out and it went away. Hold on. I love the color blocking and then the detail on the bottom of the herringbone.
Oh, that's cute.
Right?
I like that.
Yeah. I know, like, I wouldn't do just stripes on the bottom of my stomach area because, I don't know. But this really appeals to me. I really like it. And I love how oversized it is. The only hesitation that I have is the neckline. Because I don't love high necks.
Oh, you could just change that.
Yes, I can just change that.
That's easy.
Super easy. No, it's not.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know how to...
You just wouldn't do a collar. Like, that's picked up. You can see.
Yeah. So I'm just going to leave it boat necked? Or just do like a little bit? Oh, okay. Do you think it's bottomed up?
I don't know.
I have it unwrapped. Let's see if it says. Because I also don't really want to do any bottom up sweaters.
No. I'm anti those now after my tessellated.
Yeah. Top down.
Oh.
Top down without any need for additional finishing. German short rows are used to shape the neckline, and it's worked simultaneously as a neck rib. So that would be a little bit difficult.
Yeah, you'd have to look at the pattern and see how it starts, and if you could just do it maybe as a provisional cast on and start after the...
Listen to this.
If it does it.
The shoulders are formed with increases, and then the back and front are knitted separately before they are joined. And then the colorwork sleeve and body are knit by chart. So that means it's knit flat. I would think if it's knit separately, the back and the front are knit separately. It would be pearls. This is all in the description of the pattern.
It would have to be, I guess.
Yeah.
And then you go in the round, like most top down, unless it's a round yoke. That's the only one that isn't kind of front and back.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm interested in the construction of this. I don't know, maybe there's a way to do this, but I wish that I could figure out a way to change the, like it says 50 KR, which I don't know, like for the, USD Canadian.
That's Crohn's or something.
Yes. I wish there was a way that I could change it so that, like, no matter what it is in, that it shows me in Canadian. Because the bag pattern was in a different,
No, you have to just go and use a...
Yeah, it was a lot of money.
Was it?
Yeah, but I just decided it was worth it. Like a lot of Canadian dollars. I thought it would be less Canadian dollars.
I think an average price for patterns these days is around like $12.
Yeah. It was $11 Canadian, I think.
I think that like a lot that I see are like 12 Canadian.
Yeah. I just find that I think maybe I'm just used to this, like maybe it was before. But I thought that accessories were a little bit cheaper than sweaters. And lately I feel like they're more
like
on par.
Same, yeah.
I'm not complaining. I think a lot of work goes into it. And that pattern for that bag is a lot of pages, and there is a ton of detail put and effort put into making sure that you're able to do all the little pieces, like putting the hardware on, and yeah, there's a lot of detail. And I think there's videos as well, tutorials, and then tons of photos. And it just takes so much time, right? Like
so much time.
Yeah. Those were the only two that I had to share. So.
Well, the last one. So I saw this on Instagram the other day that somebody had made this, and this is the Holiday Slipover by PetiteKnit. And I've been looking, and I've probably even shown this one before, for a vest for my daughter. I want to use yarn that is forgiving for a 14-year-old because she's not going to care for it like others might. And that is fast because I have no patience. So this is knit in a bulky yarn. And this person used the Hue Me 2 of Wands yarn that is acrylic wool blend. And it's sold at various places, Amazon, Michael's, wherever. However, I have bought it, and I've showed it on the podcast before, that I bought it at Michael's. And then I made my daughter a hat out of it. So then yesterday, my son and his girlfriend were going into town. And I was like, can you go to Michael's for me? So I sent them to Michael's, and they FaceTimed me from the store.
And there's no Hue Me there?
They don't have it. And they even asked. And he had me like on pause on FaceTime so they couldn't hear me talking.
Yes.
And I can hear them. And he's going, I'm looking for this yarn for my mom, and shows them a picture that I had sent him. And the girl's like, yeah, we do have this. And then they start going up and down and around every little like stand to find it. And then they ask another staff member. And here I'm at home going, I bought it there before. I've bought it there. And I'm like, listen to me. But no one can hear me because he has me on pause. And I can hear them going, well, we had it before and I don't see it anymore. And I was like, it used to be on an end cap, but no one can hear me. So,
but Michael's,
they don't have it anymore.
No, so lots of their yarn is only either seasonal or they bring in so much and then once it's gone, it's gone.
So annoying. It's line brand. So I looked on Amazon and it was like 14 something a skein on Amazon and I need 4. But on Lion brand, it's cheaper.
Is it USD?
No, it was Canadian. And they even had a discount code on Lion brand right now for...
Is it the spin the wheel thing?
30... No, it was... Oh. You just use a code and it was 30% off.
Oh.
So I'm probably just going to order it.
Okay.
Right directly from Lion brand. And then they have all the colors. And I know I've used it before, so it's not like I'm ordering something I'm not going to like.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So I'm
what color did she want?
Green.
Dark.
Because olive.
Olive, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not... So the color that I... Remember the color that I used for her hat and it looked kind of gray?
Yeah.
Not that one. And I was like, she picked that one from the picture. And like, do you remember that hat I made you that I think she's misplaced in her room somewhere? I'm like, do you remember how in certain lighting it looks gray and not green? And she's like, yeah. And she goes, I don't want that one again. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll go with olive instead of this moss or whatever. So that's what the PetiteKnit picture looks like. And I really like how long the split hem is
me
on
too.
The back.
I really like that. I might make that one next.
It's really cute.
PetiteKnit has a lot of different vests. And remember when we were at the Fiber Nook in December and they had one on display? I think I took a picture of the picture because I also really like that one as well.
Yeah. There was, the one that Ross was wearing one that doesn't have finishing on the collar.
And it was also a PetiteKnit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like this. And it would knit up so fast and bulky.
Oh yeah, you'd be done in no time. I'm gonna go back at my pictures and see if I can find that.
So I'm pretty sure that that's what I will get when I order this yarn.
Oh yes. It was the okay, well I took a picture of the I took a picture of the tag and it says original pattern, a bit crop length by knitter, but it doesn't say what pattern it is. It must have been on the other side.
Oh shoot.
Darn it. That's too funny that I took the time to take a picture of that and then it doesn't even have. But I did take a picture of the vest, so that was the one that was displayed at our yarn shop.
That's cute.
Yeah, I really like that one.
Is that one?
It wasn't the one with the rolled.
Yeah.
Because she was wearing it, and then she said the name of this one because we were looking on. That bird was really weird. It was like flying into the window.
Always distracted.
Oh, they're fighting. Oh. Always distracted. Once that bird feeder's gone, our podcast will get less birdie. Maybe. I don't know where I was going with this. I really like this one. It looks like there's kind of a pattern to it, like maybe broken rib or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has more texture.
Yeah. So, another Costco buy.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Do you like chocolate covered raisins?
I do.
Okay. Well, as a kid, Glossette raisins were like my favorite candy.
Yes.
And
Chris loves those too.
Yeah, but they're waxy now. As an adult, I'm like, these aren't that great. And then a couple months ago, we went to the neighbors for game night. I hadn't had chocolate covered raisins in probably over a decade. Mm-hmm. And they had chocolate covered raisins, not these ones. And I was like, oh, these are so good. And I can't remember where she got them, but like Superstore or something. And then the other day I was at Costco and I was buying snacks for our ski trip. And I seen these LemonTreeStudio. They are delicious. Like, I highly recommend if you liked Glossette raisins. These are like bougie Glossette raisins for adults.
Well, now I need to go to Costco
They're
for the
so
drinks
delicious.
and the raisins.
Would you like to try one?
Sure.
Watch the fumble.
A taste test.
A taste test of the tropical raisins. I actually texted my husband. He's away working last night, and he was like, I don't know. He was like, tell me something. I was like, he's bored. And I was like, I really like these chocolate covered raisins from Costco. He's like, please save me. Well, it typoed. He said, Dave me some. And which is funny because we have gone to see a band a few times. I won't say who it is because I don't want to embarrass anybody. But one of the artists in the band, unfortunately, the one time was wearing pants that were a little bit low, and he bent down in front of the stage to like sing to people, and he was turned away from us, and so it was a little bit of a plumber situation. And so now my kids and my husband call that daving. So if your pants are low and your butt crack is showing, they'll be like, "Hey, you're daving me." So. Yes, and he was like, Dave me something. He, like, laughy emojis. Is like, no, I meant save me some. No dating of the chocolate raisins.
Ew.
Right? He's like, I'm laughing so hard. I'm like, so am I. Like, no, Dave.
No, it conjures bad images.
Mm-hmm. That's so good, right?
Mm-hmm. They are good. They're not waxy at all.
They're not waxy. They're good. No, they weren't cheap, but like it's a massive bag. I think they were like $16 or $17. 1.5 kilograms.
That's a lot of raisins.
That's a lot of raisins.
Yeah.
Yes, Jeff, I will save you some. If I can eat 1.5 kilograms of raisins in the time that you're gone, someone needs to stop me. What's up next?
Do Wishlist? Do you have a wish list today?
Not today.
I do.
Oh, I love wish list things.
Well, I saw this.
Is it another knit away?
No. These aren't they the cutest?
They are. I love the little sayings.
I know.
Who is this?
LemonTreeStudio.
Oh, I love it. I want one.
She made these zipper pouches, and they have the cutest little tags on them that say things like choose joy and make it happen and things like that. So I saw these yesterday afternoon. They were sold out by the time I got on there. So I'm sure she'll have them again. But apparently she had posted and she did a drop earlier, like midweek, and then she did a drop again on Saturday. And I saw it like an hour or two after her Saturday upload.
And they were gone.
And they were gone. But she has other really cute bags, so LemonTreeStudio. And these were like $28.
Oh my gosh, I'm looking right now, and they are, like, there's other ones that I'm looking at, and they're so cute.
Yeah, and she uses the scraps, and she just quilts things together, and it has the little, like, pulls on them, the little rainbow pulls or the little clouds. And
so cute.
Yeah, she has a bunch of different ones. And then there's, like, big bags that she makes, too. Like, look how these are really cute.
Are these bags? They are bags. Oh my gosh, they have like beaded flowers on them.
They're really cute.
That's adorable. Oh,
and the pricing is great.
Look at this big quilted
bag. I know, it's beautiful.
Oh, this is gorgeous. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's on my wish list.
So go follow her, LemonTreeStudio, and when she has a drop, don't buy them, leave some for us. So
message us.
Let us know what's happening so we don't miss it.
Slide into our DMs and let us know.
My other wish list thing are US 8 tips. Now,
what did you do?
Well, I'd like you to feel these and roll them in your fingers, and you tell me if you feel anything weird.
What other podcast would you have where someone says, "Here, roll these in your fingers"? Weird. This one feels bigger. And it does. Isn't it? Is it bigger? What's wrong with it?
It's not bigger. So here's what happened.
What?
Here's what happened.
One feels smoother than the other. One feels like kind of
not smooth?
Yeah, like it's like almost like angular.
This is why. So yesterday I was knitting.
Hexagonal.
I was finishing with these tips on my sweater, and then I needed the cord, so I needed to change tips to the larger. So it uses US 9s and US 8s. So I needed to put the US 9s on the cord, and I could not get them off. So here's Debbie and says, "Chris, can you help me get these off, please?" So Chris is like, sure. So he takes them, and I have the little chiagu thing you put through the hole and to give yourself leverage. Was not working. So I'm like, do not use tools on my tips. And he's like, okay. And he leaves the room, and then I can hear, he has our garage is attached to our house. So I can hear.
He used vice grips on it?
He used, what is the thing called? Not vice grips.
Like, it is, you can actually see it. Like, that is.
That's him fixing it. It was fucking.
Beep.
We don't edit this. It was flat, guys. The vice. He used
the vice. Wow.
To hold it.
So
when I said don't use tools, he comes back and I said, Did you use the vice? And he goes, yeah, but I put cardboard in it so it wouldn't leave a mark. It still clamped it, so they're hollow. So the one tip.
Did he notice right away? Like, did he come back and be like,
not know. He didn't notice. He gives them to me, and then he went to the bathroom, and then I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is flat. So he comes back and I said, I love you and thank you for helping me, but you wrecked my tips. And he's like, what do you mean? And I said, I told you not to use tools, and this is why this one's flat. And he's like, well, I'll fix it. I'm like, you can't fix it. And he's like, let me fix it. So he takes it, and he thinks he fixed it. And I'm like, this is going to wreck my tension.
Oh, this is going to be terrible.
And then he's just like, how will it wreck your tension? I'm like, it just will.
Well, and also it's quite flat compared to this one. So I think it would actually be wider. Like, you might
as you're knitting and holding it, it'll wreck your...
Yeah.
It just
does. Because it is quite flat here.
Yeah.
And, like, here you... I feel weird, Robin.
Hey,
this is really awkward.
Talking about rubbing tips.
It's, like, really rounded, and you can feel that, like, how your yarn is going to slip down it. And this is not. It is very flat.
So... You can buy needles that are square and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But then they're both square, and your tension will be the same because they're both square.
Yeah, no, you got two.
This is not right, Chris. So, and these are out of my little blue set. Mm-hmm. So now I have to replace. I can't remember what.
Can you get tips? Replacement tips that you're not buying the whole set, you must be able to.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
And I looked on Fiber Nook, and they sell, because the little sets come with 2-inch and 3-inch, right?
Yeah.
So on Fiber Nook, you can buy a 2-inch, 3-inch, like set together. They're like $48. Though.
Yeah.
So if I were to find, I think otherwise they're 5-inch tips, so that I don't want that. I want them to fit my set.
Yes.
And like a 5-inch. Tips are $16 or $17.
Yes.
So I would have to buy the 2-inch, 3-inch together for $48 to replace these.
Darn it.
All because of the vice.
Oh, because of the vice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
So that's on my wish list.
You need new tips and you cannot lie.
That's right.
Oh, man.
Don't use tools on your tips.
Here's a tip. Don't use tools on your tips.
That's right.
Good to know. I've never had mine stuck on so bad. Like, I have definitely where I've had to, like, kind of refoot a little bit, but I've never had them so bad that I...
And they come with those little heart things. The little rubber heart things to get a grip. I've never used it.
Oh, I don't think mine did come with that little rubber thing.
I'm pretty sure they come with them, but they do sell them separately at
Fiber Nook.
They sell... It's just a little, and I even thought to Chris, why not just use the little silicone piece in the garage to get a grip on it? Because
get a grip on your tip.
Yeah.
Wow. Moving on.
I know. That was my wish list.
All right. Debbie, it's your birthday soon?
It is.
Yeah. So
we also still have to talk about the concert.
We can. But happy birthday.
What? Yeah. I get a present. I get a present. Look how cute. Oh, and look. Yay.
My kid asked if you're having a birthday party. He said, are you invited to a birthday party? I'm like, I don't think she's having a birthday party.
I'm not having a birthday party.
I know. And I was like, sometimes adults don't have parties. He's like, well, that's lame. You should have a party.
I'm not. I was kind of like, meh. I don't know. I'm not feeling it this year for some reason. I'm not working that day. I'm like, no, it's Tuesday. I'm taking it off. But my daughter doesn't go to school till noon, and Adam's not working that day. Because if he worked, he'd only work in the morning anyway. So we're going for breakfast before she gets dropped off at school. And then that night, that saves us from having to take them to the keg for dinner. Because Noelle will probably not eat anything at the keg. So I don't really want to pay $100 to take this child to the keg that won't eat anything. So I was like, I'll just take you guys to Cora. And then you can stay home and I can go out in the evening for steak. So that is the plan.
Nice.
Yeah. It. Cute.
I bought that from an artist at Art Walk. I love Art Walk.
Skibbity toilet?
Yeah.
I should pull up that video. Did you watch it?
Yes. Like, I wasted 3 minutes of my life.
I know. I was kind of dumb.
Yeah.
But I liked the words they were saying.
Yeah, it was
catchy. I was like,
catchy.
oh, I've never heard this before.
Yeah, it was catchy, but no. My kids are hanging around. It's Sunday.
It's very entertaining here. If they'd like to come and join us. Okay. You know what's funny?
It's annoying because they put the sticker right on the thing.
Oh, that's okay. Let's just open it.
So this is a board game, and we actually played it while we were on our ski trip with friends. Our friends owned it, and immediately I was like, Debbie needs this game.
Well, and funny, I put it on my Amazon wish list.
Well, now you don't need to wish for it anymore.
Because I was like, oh, I'll get this later because it sounds great.
Okay, so fun fact.
Don't those people look...
My mother. My mom has this photo. Like this exact photo, but with a boy. With my brother. And when we pulled the card out, Jeff's like, how did your mother's photo get in the game? And I'm like, I don't know. So the game was even funnier for us because my mom is featured in it. But basically the premise of the game is it's real family photos, mostly from like the 80s and 90s, and they're like bad. Some of them are really bad. And then if you're familiar with the Cards Against Humanity game, where everybody gets a bunch of cards and then you put like a saying in, and then you go around and read the saying and you vote for the favorite one that matches you're basically capturing the photo. But this game uses movie quotes. So they're all movie quotes and it tells you which movie it's from. And it's hilarious.
Look at this baby. That baby's scared. Probably of his mom.
Yeah. It's hilarious. I think you guys will really love it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Maybe I'll play that after the cake. So, Randy and I went on Friday to see Jelly Roll. I'm sure everyone knows who Jelly Roll is.
They might not.
He's a singer.
Yeah.
And he sings country.
But he was like big rap.
Yeah, previous to that.
And then he came out with a country album, which was kind of weird.
Yeah.
He's a former addict, I believe.
Yes.
I don't
and
know
was
a lot
in prison at one point. And his wife was a sex worker.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Dynamic.
So we decided last minute we would go to this on Friday afternoon. And so we bought tickets. And they weren't that expensive. They were like $75.
Most tickets were really, really expensive.
I would say, I know that $75 is still a big chunk of money. Mm-hmm. But in comparison to what the other ticket prices were, they were very cheap.
The reason they were very cheap is because they were released the day of the concert or the day before the concert, I think the day of, and they were behind the stage. So we didn't get to see the full stage. We were behind the stage. You had messaged me because you had a line on second.
Yes, somebody else I know was reselling their tickets, which were actually good seats.
Yes, and a little bit more money. But unfortunately, those sold before we could get our hands on them. And then we kind of were both already excited about going to Jelly Roll. And so we decided to buy the behind the stage tickets, which honestly, like, I would have loved to see what was going on in the front because I've seen the videos and it was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. But I don't regret our decision.
No, like, you could still see because just the way the stage is shaped. And then they had a second stage at the other end of the arena. So yeah, you could still see most things.
At the end of the show, I was glad I didn't pay more to see him. Like, it wasn't a write me home.
No, I don't. He's better on the radio, I think. But it was quite an interesting evening.
Yeah, we had an interesting evening. I have to preface this with, I go to a lot of concerts, and my husband texted me after he wasn't at this concert with me and Debbie, obviously, but I texted him about some of the things that were happening, and he texted me back, you are a magnet for this kind of information, this behavior. And it's true. It seems like every time I go to a concert, I have a funny story to tell people.
There's something. There was no naked body parts scene this time, because that usually happens to us when we go places to see concerts.
That's weird.
But there was a man. I'm going to call him Handsy Dan. So,
Party animal Dan?
Yes. He was a party animal for 5 minutes. So when we arrived, all the people in this section bought their tickets that day or whatever. So everybody was in the same boat. They basically decided 3 hours before we're going to the show. And everybody paid $75. So that was the starting off point to have a conversation with the stranger, because we sit down and he's just like, oh, best $75 we've ever spent or something like that. And yeah. And then he's like, my name is Dan. And I was like, well, hi, I'm Debbie. And he's like, we're going to have a great time tonight. We're sitting really close together. And I'm like, okay. And then I said, my brother's name is Dan. And he goes, really? My wife's name is Debbie. He was there with his wife. It wasn't. It was Julie. But I was like, that's just weird if it is. Her name was Julie. And he, right away, was like, Debbie, we're getting really close here tonight, so I'm going to just say it. And I'm like, okay. He's like, I can't sit with my legs like this because it hurts my groin. So I have to sit like this. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, that's fine. And he's like, so our legs are going to be touching. Our thighs are going to be like this, like all night. And then he grabbed my leg and he pulls my thigh to touch his thigh. And he's just like, so we're going to sit like this. And he's got his hand pulling my thigh. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, are you okay with this? And I'm like, sure. I don't know if I'm okay with the grabbing, but I don't mind your thigh touching my thigh. And then anytime I would move, if I shifted my seat or crossed my leg or anything, and it wasn't fully making contact, Dan would get a little upset. So he'd grab my leg, and he'd be like, why are you pulling away from me? So, Auntie Dan, he was a nice guy. He was a little,
super nice.
Intoxicated. And then I was trying to take, so I had my purse on. I had this, and it goes like this, okay? And I'm wearing my hoodie underneath, which I also have here, but I won't reenact the whole thing. And I unzipped the hoodie underneath my bag, and I didn't take it off. And I'm pulling the sleeves off, and it's stuck at the back. And the hood is kind of wrapped around the strap. So I'm just grabbing the hoodie like this and trying to pull it down. Well, Dan sees me struggling. What he perceives as struggling. So he grabs the back of my bag, and he's pulling it like this.
He was trying to be helpful.
And he's strangling me. And he's like, here, I'm helping you get your hoodie out. And I'm like, okay, but he's holding the hood wrapped around the strap. So I'm pulling it this way, and he's holding it up here and holding it back. And so I finally was like, Dad, let go. And then he was like, I'm so embarrassed. I was holding you back. And he's like, I'll just not do that. I'm so sorry. I'm like, it's okay. And then Dan and Julie went to go to the bathroom or something. And he came back, and he was silent. He stopped talking. Mm-hmm. He didn't grab me anymore. It was like night and day behavior.
And then he fell asleep.
He fell asleep very shortly into Jelly Roll.
I don't think it was 2 songs into the main act. He was asleep, and he slept through the entire concert. So I mean, he promised a good time, and he lied. Well, no, actually, I think it might have been better that he was asleep. I have to say, though, like, I bought Debbie's drink that night because I was just so thankful that I wasn't on the inside seat. I don't like being touched. It would have really bothered me if he had kept grabbing my knee a lot. And so I feel like I dodged a bullet.
He also wanted to hug me at one point, but I was like, I kind of like, and brushed that
Very
off.
nice guy though. Like, I mean, he wasn't combative or anything like that.
No.
He was just very cheerful, and then he fell asleep, and that was funny.
Yeah. Yeah, he was like, you look like you'd be a great hugger. I love hugs. And I'm like, great. I'm not hugging you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, we had the girls in front of us. And
yeah, there was, unfortunately, I think somebody was pre-gaming, and they showed up quite inebriated, and she had trouble finding her seat. She was sitting on everybody around her, and leaning in on people, and it was on her phone the entire time. It was quite funny, but she was also vaping, and the arena has a strict no vaping policy, and the aisle attendant had warned them a couple of times to stop, and at one point she did say, this is your warning next time you're out, and then she vaped again, and so security showed up, and the friend was like, she said we could have a warning, and we didn't get a warning, we're not leaving. This is your warning next time you're out. Doesn't mean you get another warning. And quite frankly, the rule is the rule. I feel like if you're caught doing it,
you should just go.
Yeah, you don't get a warning.
And it took 6 people really to get them out, because there was the aisle attendant, and then 2 security, and then 2 more security, and then I think it was like a manager.
Like a
hospitality manager or something.
It was quite interesting because and I don't know why, but the security guard, there was 2 security guards that came first to talk to her, and they were being quite polite, firm but polite, and they did ask them to leave, and they would not leave. But the one security guard was putting on gloves, and I'm not sure why. Like, I'm not sure if he was maybe going to ask for the vape. I don't know, but I noticed that he was putting on gloves, and I don't know why. But I want to be very clear. Like, they did not touch these women at all. They didn't get in their faces or anything. They just stood on either side of their seats, like one in our aisle, which was one up, and then below, and just repeatedly asked them to please leave.
Yeah.
And there was a conversation about that if they didn't leave, that the police would have to be called, and that they would need to be escorted out of the building, and they wouldn't leave. So then they got 2 more security guards, and it was just like a repeat of the same. Please leave. You need to leave. You broke the rules. And unfortunately, at one point, the girls, they looked back at us and they're like, they're being so mean to us.
And I'm like, no, you are interrupting everyone around you.
Yeah.
Because the family in their row had to get up and move.
And we couldn't, I mean, we were behind the stage where we said we couldn't see, but we couldn't see anything and we couldn't pay attention to the show. We missed 2 full songs. So this happened over the course of almost 10 minutes. And then finally the hospitality manager came, and she was she very firm and just said I'm asking you nicely to come and talk on the concourse. I don't know what made them change their mind, because she left, they wouldn't go with her, and then abruptly they got up and left. And I don't know, maybe if it was because they realized that they would be arrested. And I don't know laws or anything, but at the very least, they could spend the night in the I want to call it the drunk take, but I don't know if that's the proper terminology.
They really could have.
Mm-hmm. Not a choice I want to make.
No. Over what?
Yeah.
Really, you're in the wrong.
Yeah.
So it was an interesting evening.
I have a question, audience. So let's say you're at home in your bed and you're naked and someone FaceTimes you. Do you answer the call? Now, I guess you don't know what's on the other side of that FaceTime. You aren't aware that this person is FaceTiming you from a concert, and there are people behind them that can see that you're naked when you answer this FaceTime call. But Debbie was really upset because this concert goer FaceTimed a naked dude. And I'm like, but kind of it's on him too for answering the FaceTime when he was naked.
So, Seth, if you're watching, don't answer calls when you're naked. in case.
FaceTime calls.
FaceTime calls.
Or at the very least, like put your phone a little closer so that everybody can't tell that you're naked.
Yeah. And then Seb stopped answering the calls and she called him incessantly. Like she is one of the, like, red flags, run away from this girl.
Yeah, it was, I have strong feelings about things like that, though, that things that, like, really detract from the show. Like, I feel bad for that family that had to move. Mm-hmm. Like, their show was very interrupted. Our show was very interrupted. And, like, people around us. And I feel like, yeah, like, I kind of want a refund. Like, it's frustrating.
There should be some sort of compensation.
There should be.
Because it's not like they're not dealing with it quickly. They're allowing it to go on and on and on.
Yeah.
Like,
my husband actually said it should be 0 tolerance and you're out and just, like, removed. Like, there should be something in place and just out. Yeah. We don't vape. And it really bothers us that people vape indoors. I don't like it. I hate the way it smells. And I know that that's a very strong statement, but that's how I feel. And I feel like indoors there are rules and there's rules for a reason. And I wish that people would not vape around me. But every concert that I've been at recently and hockey games, it just seems like there's always someone vaping. And almost every single time the aisle attendant gives someone a warning. And I just feel like it's becoming a little bit out of hand.
Yeah. I don't think as an adult you need a 3 strikes you're out rule.
On a rule that's very it's very clear. It's everywhere in that building.
Yeah. Well,
whatever.
That was our experience.
The show itself was like okay. And
we went to the casino and that was fun.
Yeah. We went for supper.
It was very
It was a great night out. Like I had a great time.
It was fun.
Ooh, books. I read, so I put on our Instagram, I put a poll, so I had a gift card to Indigo, and we were in the neighborhood of Indigo, so I stopped in and spent my gift card. And I had actually asked for this book on Libby, but it was going to be like months and months wait. So I had bought 3 books from Indigo with my gift card, and I put them up on our Knits'n'Giggles and asked people what they wanted me to read next. And I might do it again because there was actually quite a bit of engagement. So Scythe and Sparrow is the one that was voted for most. And it's a Brynne Weaver book. It is the 3rd in a trilogy. If you've seen some of our book reviews, I've talked about the other ones, Butcher and the Blackbird and Lark and Leather. They are serial killer romances. So a little bit dark, they're dark comedies, I think is dark romantic comedy, I think is what Brynne Weaver calls them. And they have warnings in the front. What are those called? Trigger warnings, content and trigger warnings. And I'm going to read a couple of these because this is the part of these books I really think is funny. Debbie doesn't think they're funny. It's like, so in the first book, before I read it, I read the trigger warnings and it said accidental cannibalism. And I sent that to Debbie and she was like, how do you accidentally be a cannibalism? Like, how is it? I don't want to ruin the books for you, but it was very accidental. But in the trigger warnings, it says, are drug addicted raccoons a trigger? Debate. What? Yeah. Her trigger warnings are hilarious.
Okay.
Impaling, not the sexy kind. But okay, that too. Eyeballs. Again, if it's Indian constellation, I don't know why I keep writing them into books because eyeball shit freaks me the fuck out. Yeah. It's quite, I won't read them all, but it's quite funny. And like sometimes it says explicit and colorful language, including a lot of blasphemy. Don't say I didn't warn you. Which obviously the trigger warnings in some books are a little bit more serious. This is quite funny and humorous. She makes it quite funny and humorous. I would say that this book was probably my least favorite out of all 3 of the books. I think it's because it was told along the same timeline as so there's like overlapping timeline. Mm-hmm. And these characters are in the first 2 books, and then there's like big events that happen in the first 2 books that have these characters in them. And so, of course, she has to write about them in here. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, I didn't love how she chose to write those events, rewrite those events. She kind of skips over a lot of the details. And one, if I hadn't read the other books, I would be really lost. But also, I feel like we didn't get to hear these characters' viewpoints on some of those events. And one event was a really big event, is a catalyst in this, quite a big catalyst in this book. And it was sort of skipped over. And I feel like that was, so this was only a 3-star for me. Yeah. And don't read it if you don't like serial killing romances.
I just realized I didn't put my books on my notes, but I just wrote them. So, I don't remember. I think I was in the middle of listening to this last time, Dream Girl Drama by Tessa Bailey.
Yes.
Yes. So it's part of the series where there's like the golfer.
Mm-hmm. Then there's a nanny one, right?
Yeah, he's a hockey player. Mm-hmm. This one is also a hockey player. And so, did you read the first 2?
No.
So in the second one, which is the hockey player one with a nanny, the nanny ends up having to go live with somebody else. She was living like an in-home nanny, and then she decided that was not comfortable, so she ended up moving and staying with somebody else. And the person she stays with is the main female character in the third book, Dream Girl Drama. In nowhere in Dream Girl Drama is there mention of this person moving into her apartment. But the time frame overlaps. So I just thought it was weird because she lives alone, and the apartment is paid for. It's also a hockey player. So the apartment is paid for by her soon-to-be stepbrother, who is a hockey player, and she is a cellist, I believe. But very, like, came from money, has no idea how to take care of herself, and he teaches her how to take care of herself, basically. The stepbrother? Soon-to-be stepbrother. Teaches her how to cook and how to go grocery shopping and pay bills and all these things. But in the meantime, he's paying her rent to live in this apartment. I didn't love it. I didn't love.
Sorry, is characters. That that's the romantic interest?
Yes.
Soon-to-be stepbrother? Oh, see.
But they met previous.
Yeah.
To the parents' meeting.
I'm sure that happens in real life, but
probably. And I just didn't like that she was so incompetent. Like, that's fair. The way she was written, it was like she couldn't. Oh, I can't do anything for myself. Like,
yeah, that could be enough.
I need some responsibility, so I'm gonna pet sit this dog. But he needs to eat, so I'm gonna go and feed him a steak. And it's like, your dog's gonna have diarrhea. Like, that's all I was thinking.
That owner Debbie is like, no steak.
Why are you feeding this dog McDonald's? Or like, what?
Yeah, that's a little bit much.
Yeah. So I didn't love that one. And then I finished Bridesmaid Undercover by Meghan Quinn, and it was hilarious.
We are huge Meghan Quinn fans.
Loved this book. Really funny. And then the third one comes out in a month. It comes out like April 15th. And that one is about another one of the brothers and his assistant. And there's an age gap in that one, like 13 years or something like that. But I'm looking forward to it because that one will be funny as well. But those are the only books that I've read lately.
I've read a few more, but... Oh, I want to talk about this one, though. You read this and talked about it. The Rom-Commers by Catherine Center.
Yes.
I read it.
I read it so long ago.
Yes. I read it because it came up on my Libby. And I've been waiting for a while. I didn't love it.
I don't remember it at all.
I found the character development lacking in certain places. There was like some funny humor that kind of reminded me a little bit of Meghan Quinn, but not as well developed and like well written as Meghan Quinn's humor is. And like, because there was one part where they were hiding in the pantry from his ex-wife, and I thought like immediately when this scene started to unfold, I immediately thought of Meghan Quinn and like how this would have maybe been written by her. But I felt like there was just like huge gaps in like the way things were written. Like at one point in the book, he's accepting an award and he he's waiting for a phone call. And in the past, he has accepted an award and taken a phone call while accepting the award. And the main female character, brings that up while they're getting to know each other. Like, that was really rude. And so he's accepting this new award, and he turns this ringer on. And he's like, I'm waiting for an important phone call. And everybody laughs. And then he's like, no, seriously, I am. And I am going to take this call because it's important. And it's from his doctor or whatever. But he gets really good news. And in the book, it's like written as though, like, so he cries. And she's there, he doesn't know it, and she's observing, and like this written from her point of view. And she says, he stands there and cries for several minutes. What are all, like, there's hundreds of people here at this banquet for this award ceremony. What are these hundreds of people doing while he's standing up there crying?
They're just watching.
Oh, well, that's weird. I don't think that I would just sit there while a grown man cries at a podium for several minutes. A couple of seconds, a moment, and then he, like, pulls himself together and talks. Okay. But several minutes, just everybody's just like...
I don't know.
It's weird.
Yeah, maybe the timeline is not very realistic.
Yeah. But it's Zero Spice if you're into that.
I don't remember this book at all.
You talked about it.
I know.
And I remember you saying that there's like, I don't even think they kiss in the book. Maybe towards the end.
Maybe.
Yeah, but it's, interesting.
Actually, and in Dream Girl Drama, the one that I didn't really love with the step siblings, it takes a very long time for there to be any sort of spice at all. So that was a little annoying too. Because not only am I having to listen about the whiny girl,
yes,
there's like nothing happening besides her being whiny. So
that's hard when they're
yeah. Right. I think that's all.
I think that's it. Yeah, it's a good one. We'll be back in a couple weeks with more knits. Debbie will probably finish her sweater. Yay. Hopefully.
No, I will be done it because there's not that much left.
Yeah,
a sleeve and a half.
Yeah,
it'll be fast.
Yeah. All right. Well, this was fun. See you next time.
I feel like I need to do it. Okay, bye.